Welcome to TYTSports, everybody. Ben Mankewicz here. Francis Maxwell is with me. Francis, say hello.
Hello, Francis.
No, see, I said, Francis, say hello, so that joke only works if I say hello, Francis.
Try it again. Try it again.
No, you've blown your opportunity. So NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, has said something remarkable and perhaps long overdue, and in a sense obvious, but for years the major sports leagues have tried to behave as if gambling doesn't exist and never will. Adam Silver, speaking at a Bloomberg Sports Business Summit Thursday in New York, said this. It's significant. It's inevitable that if all these states are broke, that there will be legalized sports betting in more states than Nevada. And then the really significant part, we will ultimately participate in that. Very hard to imagine David Stern saying anything like that. If you have a gentleman's bet or a small wager on any kind of sports contest, it makes you that much more engaged in it. I can't believe I'm reading this. That's where we're going to see it pay dividends. If people are watching a game and clicking to bet on their smartphones, which is what people are doing in the United Kingdom right now, then it's much more likely you're going to stay tuned for a long time. So here is Adam Silver recognizing not just that this is inevitable, and it's inevitable because it's already happening, but that there is value in that to the NBA. And what I like most about this is that there's no moralizing in this. He's not talking about the evils of gambling. Because whether gambling is widespread or living sort of in the shadows, as it does here in the United States, but it is a big midday shadow. I mean, it is a shadow down the sidewalk at 12:30 in the afternoon on a bright, sunny Southern California day. It's already happening, and the dangers that sports always felt was that if gamblers get their clutches into players or referees, that you therefore corrupt the outcome of the game, which ultimately ruins the game for everyone. And I mean that in a very real way. The reason we watch sports and the reason that it's not wrestling is that we don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. And that is critical. I mean, sports is the first success. Sports on television, the NFL on television in many ways was the first successful reality show. And that's what this is. We watch a reality show, the good ones, because you don't quite know what's going to happen. You're seeing something real. Right, the Kardashians. You don't know what's going to happen. Maybe they're going to run out of money. Maybe they're all gay. I don't know. You don't know what's going to happen with the Kardashians. Which were you crossing your fingers for?
Hopefully they run out of money.
Okay, I was just wondering. So to see a sports commissioner looking forward into the 21st century, the century we live in, I think is remarkable. He mentioned the United Kingdom. Do you bet on games regularly in the UK while they're happening? Do you make in-game bets?
Every single game, I like to make a bet. Every single prestigious game, I like to make a bet in the UK, just to. For me, it adds more fun to the aspect of it, but I bet in games, yes.
You bet in games too, so you'll make a halftime bet.
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
Look, as everybody who watches this knows that I love to gamble, and you can do that here too, but it is a little bit in the shadows and it's not as easy. And if it were legalized, as New Jersey was trying to do, again, is to take it out of just Las Vegas, which is the only place it is. So it's also impossible to suggest that there's some moral judgment that if somebody is sitting in Cincinnati or Youngstown, Ohio, apparently the only two cities I can think of are in Ohio. I was literally trying to think of any other place in the country, and I came up with another city in Ohio. So if you're in Youngstown, Ohio, or Bismarck, North Dakota, or Athens, Georgia, or Dover, Delaware, and you want to make a bet, there are going to be people around you who are going to be like, oh, look at you, you're making a bet, oh my God, I can't believe it, and you're going to have to do it somewhat surreptitiously. And the notion that there should be some moral judgment assigned to that when there are literally hundreds of thousands of people at that very moment in Las Vegas making a bet completely legally, walking around, it's just nonsense. So I don't think that the sports are in any grave danger of being taken over by gamblers, whether it's existing. In a sense, I think they're more at risk of it if it's living in the shadows than if it's legal and regulated. The sports leagues, which were joined by the Department of Justice, reading from this ESPN article here from David Purdom, ultimately defeated New Jersey. in the Third Circuit Court of Appeals, preventing New Jersey from adding sports gambling, which is the only good thing that Chris Christie wanted to do.
Very surprising for me, considering most sports corporations want to try and make as much money as they possibly can, because in the United Kingdom, we know how much betting is well known there. A lot of these leagues and everything buy on board with this, like Paddy Power and William Hill, all these main betting firms in the UK. They sponsor a lot of the Premier League action. They sponsor a lot of coverage on it. They're involved. They're constantly. I mean, they must pay the Premier League because they get ads that come in like basically in between every game, in between the halves. It's always like messages about betting in the games. So it's surprising that they want to get on board because it's a big money-making scheme. What the problem is, as you said, is it runs a risk of betting casting it at like this shadow over the sport and people getting involved in corrupt bets.
But they could be involved now.
Yeah, exactly. We don't know. But in the UK, there has been in sports now that, as you said, these mid-game bets. There's some crazy bets like who can get the first throw in, and there's been players who have been known to take bribes to take the ball from half and just launch it out the park, and they make money off of it, and it's ridiculous. There's a very minimal amount, but in the same time, like it's always baffled me in the United States how you have alcohol is legalized at games, which is something that's banned in the UK, but betting is not legalized. Especially
you telling the alcohol's banned?
Alcohol's banned, especially in the United Kingdom. They worry about the fact that it might encourage more violence. As fans in the UK, they're very violent towards each other in the history, and they try to remove alcohol.
So I didn't realize this. You can't you see in a Premier League game in the UK.
You can't drink in the stadium.
I did not know that. That is a fantastic law.
Yeah. So would you support that if that was to happen?
Yeah, I would, given the history and the fact that people have to be able to take their kids to a game and feel safe.
Yeah, exactly.
So I would agree with that. But you can drink beforehand, you can drink after.
I mean, if you know sports, in Scotland, Celtic versus Rangers, humongous rivalry. If you put alcohol in the stadium involved in that, then it's just gonna shit's gonna hit the fan.
I'm not sure if they still have it in effect, but the New York Jets, I think, banned alcohol sales after the first quarter a few years back, and I think it still carries on to today because they were getting so violent during games. They had to put a halt to it.
I literally don't understand anyone who goes to an NFL game. Like, I don't know why you wouldn't just watch it on TV. I wouldn't accept free tickets to an NFL game. I mentioned, by the way, New Jersey. New Jersey lost in the Third Circuit Court of Appeals. They're still fighting. I mentioned also earlier in the story that I can't imagine David Stern saying something like that. And here's why I can't imagine David Stern saying like that, because he has said the exact opposite. And you have to go all the way back to 2012. 2 years to find him saying it. So the one thing I'm certain of, said David Stern in November of 2012, less than 2 years ago, is that New Jersey has no idea what it's doing and doesn't care because all it's interested in is making a buck or two. They don't care that it's at our potential loss. Adam Silver has turned that around. He's got no preaching. He understands that he is the first part of that, which I haven't even talked about yet, this notion that we have so many states with so much debt, so many broke states, and you see states open casinos all the time. So what David Stern was saying was, I don't care if people come in and blow their paycheck, playing blackjack at a riverboat casino or on the slots at a riverboat casino, just so long as they don't do it betting on the Hawks at a riverboat casino. And it doesn't make any sense. And what Silver has done is the exact opposite. Because Stern says they don't care that it's our potential loss, and Silver is saying it's our potential gain.
Yeah.
We can make money from this, and that is, if he can convince the other owners to go along with that, that is the breakthrough moment. So I think because it's inevitable. I think it's good that Silver is recognizing the value in getting out in front of this. Don't forget, though, that the lobbying against this could come from other leagues. Certainly, because as you see, Stern just 2 years ago was leading the fight against it from the NBA, but from Goodell or now from Rob Manfred at Major League Baseball. And also the biggest lobbying money will come in part from Vegas casinos. Because what they don't really want is you to be able to go to, God forbid, Arizona, New Mexico, or Utah and make a bet, or California and make a bet on sports. So. By the way, $3.6 billion in 2013 wagered on sports at Nevada sports books.
Oh my goodness.
American Gaming Association estimates as much as $380 billion is wagered illegally in the U.S. annually. So think about that: $3.6 billion at the sports books, $380 billion, 100 times that wagered illegally It's already here.
Yeah.
There's no reason why the leagues shouldn't regulate it, shouldn't participate in regulating it and figure out a way to make a buck off it.